Hello, I'm Antonio with Economy Moving and Storage. Today we're going to show you a little bit about how to load a truck, how we load a truck, and how you would want to load a truck if you were doing it yourself. Now today we've already gotten some of our load completed. We're going to build a tier for you and show you exactly how we would build it and how you could do it if you were doing it yourself. Now here you can see we've already got a sofa and we have it shrunk wrapped, feet to the wall to keep it from rubbing up against the wall. We have pads underneath to keep it from rubbing on the ground and keep it from being dirty. If you look in here and you notice we have some pictures that are nestled in there to keep them from moving and nice and safe. We have chairs and our lighter furniture up top, which is what you always want to do when you build a tier. We have our cartons in the middle here. They're good for setting the lighter items and the fragile items up top. We have a washer down here at the bottom. You can't see it because the dresser's in the way. The dresser will be our next tier. You can see we have it pad wrapped. We use rubber bands to protect our pads, and it holds the pads on your furniture better. So that's always good to have. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to start building our tier. As you can see, we already have most of our items staged ready to go for you. And we'll just build these into our tier. Okay, so what we're going to start doing is we're going to build on top of our base. You always start with a base, something heavy, secure, that's not going to collapse. We'll start with what we have here, which right now we have a surplus of cartons, which is always good for loading the truck. And with these cartons here, you're going to want to make sure they have a little bit of weight to them. And this customer here packed their cartons very well. They're taped, secured, they're not crushing, and they were filled to the top. There's no give. There's no give there, so that's big. That's important when you're loading your truck. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just build myself up some cartons, and that's going to protect the top of this dresser. If you put something with feet on it or legs, that when it's going down the road and it's bouncing, that can cause dents on the top of your dresser. You don't want that. So when you use cardboard, not only is it a good filler, keeps it nice and tight, it also protects the top of this dresser. Now, when you're loading your tiers, you always want everything to be nice and flush. You can see this tier that we already have built up is straight across. All the gaps are filled. Nothing's going to move around. And that's exactly how you want to build each and every tier in your truck. Now here we have our cartons, which are 24 inches by 24 inches. And that's typically the standard size tier is 24 inches. Most dressers are going to be about that size. So we're just going to keep building, and we're going to want to keep everything nice and flush and straight and keep it nice and neat. Okay. Okay. Now, we've kind of worked our way up. Now we like to burn up the items that are kind of unusual or difficult to load. Now this is a table pedestal. You wouldn't want to put this on the base as a base piece, although it is strong, because you're not going to be able to load on it. It's not a good load piece. So this is something that you would want to get rid of at the top of a tier, get it out of the way. Alright, now we're going to start working our way right to left. That's how I typically load. Different movers have their own preferences. That's just the way that I like to do it. So that's the way we'll do it today. Now, right here we have this gap here. I wouldn't want to put necessarily another box like this here, because you're going to have a gap here that will be difficult to fill. So we have this carton here, which is an extra large carton of 6.1. So I'll use this carton. It's got some weight to it. It's nice and packed full. It'll be a good piece to put other items on. Now as you can see, that flushed off this corner real nice. Everything's still nice and neat. So what we're going to do is we're going to start working our way up. Now we have this hole here to fill. Now where our sofa is loaded, it's sticking out a little bit outside of the load of this tier here. So we can't put quite as wide of furniture in there. So this piece here, we've already got it pad wrapped and banded. And I know it's a file cabinet. Now when you pad wrap things, you always want to keep in mind what they are. And you should always know which pieces have fragile pieces and how to load that. Now a 2-drawer file cabinet, That's a strong, sturdy piece. We're going to put that in as a base piece. Okay, so now we've got it nice and flush still. We have this piece here, which is about the same depth as the file cabinet. So we're going to put that on top. Okay, it's not quite as wide. So there is a gap between this and the sofa. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to try to find a thin piece. Okay, right here we have a picture carton that the customer packed. Fragile. This is a good spot to put it because it's going to be nestled in between the sofa, which is soft, and the soft side of the suitcase. And it will also square up our load. Okay, now we have this gap here that we got to worry about. Also, when loading, you should always keep in mind what the contents of the cartons are. You don't want to put dish pack. Well, dish packs are very strong items. You can use those as base as long as they're packed properly. But like as you see here, this is a pretty sturdy carton, but there's toilet paper or paper towels or something in that nature in here. You really can't mess those up. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. That's the only time that you would want to turn a box in the position that it's not made for. So this is going to go right in between this hole here, and it's going to square this up real nice. You always want it to be kind of tight because that's what keeps your load from moving and shifting while you're going down the road. Okay, so we have that in there. Now we got to fill this gap a little bit further. All right. Like I said, you always want it to give you a little bit of tension, not too much because you don't want to damage the contents of the cart. Okay, now we're at a point where we need to figure out something to go on top of these cartons. So what we're going to do is we have this TV, we got a chair, and some other odd shaped items. So we'll go ahead and start burning. We'll start with the TV. I always like to put TVs up a little bit higher just because they're odd to load on top of. Had I put this TV down here, it may have been difficult to put something on top of it. When it's up higher, it's out of the way. It's not going to be a problem. It's looking pretty good. So we have this Christmas tree here. Pretty odd shaped carton. We'll go ahead and get rid of it. Looks like it should sit nicely on top of the suit. Okay, so we have this gap here we need to fill in to keep that from moving. And we have a jewelry cabinet here that we've already got paper padded. Paper pads are typically used for international moves and when you're loading your own trucks. We use them sometimes for small items to keep them safe. Now this is upside down right now, and we're going to try to fit it in this gap here, which if you look at it, doesn't look like it's going to fit. But the good thing about using cartons is they have a little bit of give to them, and that's what you want to use to keep your load from shifting and to make everything nice and tight. So what we're going to do is set this right down in here. Give our carton a little push over. Each carton should give a little bit. And that's going to sit right in there nice and snug. Everything's nice and safe. Everything's still square, so that's a good. You always want to be aware of weight and how it's affecting the cartons underneath. If you see a carton start to crush or start to give, you want to take that item back off and find something a little bit lighter that's going to fit on. Sometimes you got to rearrange it. It's like a 3D Tetris game, and you really got to work with different things to make sure everything's nice and snug and fits properly. Okay, so we have this little gap here that we need to fill. So what you want to do is you want to go through, see what you have to work with. We have this little carton here. We can put that in. It should fit real nicely right in there. Don't be afraid to give it a little push, and it'll go right in for you. Okay, we have this chair we need to get rid of. It's already pad wrapped. We'll use our rubber bands to keep it nice and safe, keep the pads on it while it's being carried. And we're just going to set this right in here. We have this little carton. Good spot to burn up little cartons is in between the legs of chairs. So we can put that right in here. And that really allows you to use up every ounce of space available to you in your truck, and lets you get a lot more on, so you're not making several trips to and from. Okay, so we're getting kind of down there as far as what we have to work with. We have this tote here, so we'll go ahead and put this right in between here. And that's going to be about it as far as how far up we can go with what we have. Now we do have some smaller items. This carton, we don't want to put glass up top because it's supposed to be upright. You always want to haul glass upright, just like it would be made. These items are wood items. This is a box filled with miscellaneous items. These are the items that you would want to put up top. We have a small ladder that we would use to do that. We're not going to do that in this video, but that is what you would want to do if you were loading it yourself. And that concludes how to load a truck. Again, I'm Antonio with Economy Moving and Storage. Thanks for watching.